yeah, oh yeah. Get up, stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up for your rights. Words of the man, Robert Nesta Marley. What a Jamaican man. What a Jamaican with a word of memory.
True.
Of an absolute affirmation of the individual's sovereign right to their own power of personage and being, to be sovereign over the logos and the meditation thereof and the activities of personage. What a thought in a most divine context. Get up, stand up for your right. So this current offering right here, you know, is going to be a most mystic. Blessings and welcome for to reasons right here at the Tree of Life. I'm your host, The Great Out, in the presence of my co-host, Brother Ramon Singh.
Perfect love.
Perfect love, Brother Singh.
Yes, I.
Perfect love. Yes, I. Stand up for your rights. Stand up for yourself. Yeah? How do we stand up for ourselves in a sea of conflicting opinions and attitudes, right? When most people just feel a little bit fatigued and bombarded. But it's like most people are bullied because they might feel the bully maybe a little bit stronger than them. But most times it's the fear of the individual that makes the bully feel like the bully is actually stronger than them. It's like a kind of a mind game, a chess play in the meditation. And so it's like a whole lot of people just bluff people out of their own self-confidence. And so people speak over you. I mean, they basically ignore you. Make you feel as if you don't really belong in that frame of reference in the moment. You know, you have so much friends who have been through this. You have so much friends who have been through this. So we've had so much friends who have been through the marginalization, and sometimes we too have been pushed down by strong opinions and reinforced with fear, with fierce force. You know, as I say, how we deal with the essence of standing up for ourselves? How do you stand up for yourself?
Yes, I. Stand up for rights, you know. We have to know our rights in order to stand up for it. Because that's how we go wrong. We perish for lack of knowledge.
Highly.
We don't know our rights. We don't know the laws of the land. We don't know the laws of God. We don't know the laws of Babylon. You see me? We don't know the laws of our own mind. Know thyself, you see me?
True that.
Stand up for rights. We have to know our rights. So when I once try come beat with them and I do wrongs, I say, no, I know my rights, you can't do that. Enough time even police in Jamaica, just because them know say we don't know the law. Anything come out of them mouth, them will make it seem like law. Absolutely. And them know the real law, you know. But if we don't know, we can't stand up for rights. Police are going to take control of the situation because we don't know the law.
True.
But once we know the law, I say, no, what you're saying is wrong. Because in section A and in the law, it doesn't say that. You see me?
Yeah. Once you know, you know.
Yeah. So him just shut up his mouth right there. You know, one time I remember a police pulled me over and him search up my bag and find little herbs. And I say, yeah man, I'm medicine that man. And he must say, you gonna lock me up. I say, you can't lock me up. And he must say, why? I say, I 1 ounce that.
Yes.
He must say, what that mean? I say, a 2 ounce and over for you lock me up. But I have 1 ounce. This is just what me par with for the day. This is my medicine. Because I have asthma, and when me smoke, my asthma go away. So my medicine, you see me?
Absolutely.
So the police say, no man, how you know say I 1 ounce this? I say, because I wait out before I leave.
Exactly.
I have a scale.
Yes.
I say, I walk with 1 ounce.
Yes.
Nothing over, nothing under, just per 1 ounce. You know, and we that say it's like a grand bag that in a Jamaica.
Absolutely.
You know?
A shit.
So me have to teach the police and say 2 of this is 2 ounce.
Yes.
So when somebody have more than 2 of this, that
Yeah.
is when them wrong.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
And this is just 1.
And that's the law in our country.
Yeah. So me have to teach the police what a ounce look like because him no know. But because him a try use him head pon me and I try conway out, me have to teach him and say, no man, this is 1 ounce. What you're saying is wrong. You cannot lock me up,
Absolutely.
you cannot bring me anywhere. I can legally travel with this and more.
Yes.
And him just say, man, Ras, you teach me enough. I'm start teaching about steamers and vapor. You know? I'm end up teaching with ton bridging.
See that?
I teach the police about the law. Yes, I.
So knowing your rights is essential to arguing for your welfare and your well-being. So sometimes some group within a society is excuse that they are being marginalized. It's not sufficient enough for them to garner support for their arguments. They need to actually know the law of the land and international law, and especially if it relates to refugee status or humanitarian rights or the rights of the sovereign logos of the individual to practice your religion, your culture, your belief and such. So under the United Nations and international law, human rights give us Rastafari first an international charter the right to practice our religion according to how it was defined as Rastafari, to use the herb as a part of the sacrament. And this was international, I think it was 5 grams, right? And then Jamaica did its own domestic law based off the international law. And you can have 5 trees legally within your premises as a Jamaican. Previously it was illegal to be found growing them, having the seeds or the actual vegetable matter that is marijuana or cannabis, sativa, THC brand here in Jamaica. But it's interesting again when we are talking about laws, or the Codex of the Law, the Constitution. It's supposed to reflect the actual sovereignty of the people of the land, and it should reflect them as the tenure of the law. They are the law. The law comes from the premises that they behold, from the actualities they have prescribed themselves from the experience under heaven. And God first is the charter of rights, long before Magna Carta, the moral clause that form a society, the impinging factors that give an individual a sovereign right. It's not impinged just upon the human intellect. It's because God is the differentiating factor of human difference, the Almighty, which hath given life to all. And so all cannot judge of itself to be supreme beyond itself. The supreme judges beyond. And so because that right, which comes with responsibility to not abuse the rights of others, because not only we have it, they have it. They have the right to express their opinions. Local, domestic, regional laws tend to come from that law. Magna Carta being the basis of foundation of maritime law and some subtext, and then the foundations of domestic law, right? In our country, in Jamaica, our final part of appeal is through the Privy Council, which is through British maritime law, right? The laws of the sea still governs a lot of these states that was invaded by Europeans, and as such, we are not on a domestic law, nor a domestic or sovereign law. You understand? So a lot of times they call it common law to refer to the law of the land. And so the law of the land doesn't govern us. The international laws govern through these vassal states we are to these monarchical nation states, which are now called nations, are called countries, right? England and whatever, 2 different nations here. So when people begin to speak about your rights, you can't even speak about your rights if you do not know how you are denoted. Because if you use their reference to refer to you, you are using an observation to refer to an actuality, which is nonsense. You cannot refer to yourself in somebody's eyes. Knowing thyself, you said it. It's the foundation of the law, right? So you got to know your rights, brethren and sisters, for your region, for your country. And when you want to stand up for yourself, it's not just to be violent or speak violently or speak angrily, because that gives them, in the context of the mob rule, a reason to come at you with even more severe force. So it is like a chess game or war games simulation, what we call sports. It's like crush the egos in a harmless way, right? And let's use truth to subdue perceptions, right? And so when you do that as knowing yourself now, you won't going around trying to tell somebody else who they are, because it makes no sense. You know that you will be connoting and not denoting. So put your finger on the pulse and realize that truth is denoted, belief and perception is connoted. So please, in order to stand up for yourself, stop believing so much and know. Know what you're about, know what life should be about. Study laws and know why words are formed from laws which are formed from the moral and the spiritual clause. So the words suggest and infer the base consciousness contained within these laws, right? So find out the clause, right? And stop referring to yourself as a slave and a subject of perdition or a subject of the Roman Curia, or a property rather of the Roman Curia. Stop doing it. It's not wise, and you don't have to go on a pulpit and sing it. I mean, envy not the oppressor's choose none of his way. Come out of her, my people. Be confident in knowing that God made you unique and special just to be the beauty you are. You don't have to act like somebody else. You don't have to feel afraid to stand as you are. Speak truth. Be imbued with truth, meaning grow with it. Didn't just happen like that. You would have had to take time to analyze your bad behaviors, your wrong activities, your wrong actions, and be responsible for them, because rights come with responsibility. Not because you're right, you should go in the streets and try to lock everybody else in house arrest. Not because you're right, you're supposed to think, you're supposed to tell me when I'm supposed to go to my bed, when I'm supposed to leave the streets, right? And even if you're right, it doesn't mean you should use excessive force to subdue me. But think about it. What if you're wrong? And it's very likely, hallelujah, that you'll be wrong. If there's one sure thing about human existence, it is very likely, most probably, that we, you, us, we will definitely be wrong. So don't be so sure to be assertive, yeah, in power dynamics and control. Stand in the truth, yeah, be different, allow, forgive, say, you're crazy with what you're doing or what you're saying. I ain't gonna join you, but I ain't gonna come out there like I have a moral right to remove you, like God gave me a right to take you out of earth when he was the one that gave you life, and your own karma will take you to your own judgment. Hallelujah. Brother Singh.
So, the youth need to learn the law. We need to teach the youth from early. Even if we have to say, all right, look, make us do a little homeschooling.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole family study the law together.
Absolutely.
Get the law book, get the laws of the land, and learn the laws of the land. If we are treading a Babylon, we have to know the laws. If we don't know the laws, we're going to perish. We're going to feel like fish out of water. You see me?
A second-class citizen, or no-class citizen, as a matter of fact.
Yes, sir. Because even many benefits out there that we rights, we can stand up for it and get the benefits.
True that.
And we not stand up and get it. You know?
I will make it seem like it's always, again, too complex to do the paperwork. And they're putting it in the paperwork because the violence most times don't let them change the laws. It is actually the concerted effort of many over time to insist on fair and equitable exchange amongst nation states or amongst individuals within nation states. Yeah, it has to be a consistent effort on the part of individuals in collective modus operandi. We can't just assume that because they present a contract that they had our moral best interests at heart. And in assuming that by them bringing gifts, yeah, we would have miscalculated as to when more value is taken out than the cheap and fleeting gifts that they brought us, like smallpox blankets to a lot of our native brothers and sisters on Turtle Island, so-called USA. Hallelujah. So we must question the narrative a lot and ask not nonsensical questions, according to some who love to say, but ask, according to Jerome, Sage Butler the Great, honest questions that might appear nonsensical. Ask these questions and see what power there is in the sovereign right of an individual to say, why are you doing this? Ask them, what law supports this? When was this law enacted? What was the premise and foundation of that law? What was the jurisprudence within this jurisdiction for this to be recognized as a clause that should be followed, enforced? Who made these decisions? Is it constitutional? Is it unconstitutional? Is it prejudiced action enshrined in policy, legislated and enforced by police enforcement officers? Question the seeming eternity of these human unbalanced laws. The tenure of law is within the individual. You and I, Kasuri Baba, are the law. The law isn't abstracted from us in principle or in principi. The law is the sovereign nature of our decisions based upon our interactions in actuality with humans. If you have done me this consistently in an improper manner, culturally it will create a state of awareness that teaches me to avoid interaction. Legalistically and legislatively, it will become policy and enshrined as a law to be enforced. It had to be decided upon. But when laws are prejudiced based upon you're trying to interfere with me, based upon racist groundings, irreligious arguments, acquisitivist and globalist corporationist mindset, I have all rights within the sovereignty of my being to stand up for my rights without harming myself, without harming you, or without you harming, hallelujah, me. You see? Get up, stand up for your rights. Don't give up the fight. Isn't it? That's it.
Sorry, man, can't seal it up.
Because we have to just recognize, man, the man, so we can seal it, meaning Seala. Yeah? Get up, stand up for your right. Yeah? Be very much aware of your worth and your value in earth. And I'm telling you, please don't just give people psychological, philosophical. It is enshrined in documentations upon top of documentation that will be reinforced. You know the word force? By an armed, right? I said armed, right? By an arm of their legal administration called law enforcement, police, coppers, right? And so, because it is there enshrined, you can go and study it and be what? Set free by having the power, yeah? And knowing the power is determinate in you because you are the tenure of the law, meaning you are the law, I am the law. We are, hallelujah, the law. So blessings and love, yeah? Lawful citizens of terra firma. This has been the Great Owl Reasons right here at the Tree of Life with my co-host, brother, Ramon Singh.
Perfect love.
Perfect love, brother. Perfect love, brothers and sisters.